Good evening.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Excellent.
Excellent.
Well, this was a good one.
It's your question though.
It is my question. So
we have to do a check-in from last week.
We do.
Oh my gosh.
So
I was good. I was focusing on turning my computer off at 5.
I was okay. I wasn't great.
What could you do better?
Just tell the kids not to bug me. Would be much easier. No, it was okay. I think for those that don't know what we're talking about, my next day, what could I do? One thing to improve things would be to put my phone down whenever the kids were around. So I'd say the next day, absolutely. Like if the kids were near me, it wasn't around. And for the most part, I was like that. But by the weekend, it was back out again and being used all the time.
I've been pretty good closing my computer at 5.
Yeah.
I think like there's a couple of days where it's like 5:05.
Yeah.
So trying to.
So you're saying you won?
I always win. That's not even a question.
Okay. All right. Well, we do have another question this week. It's 2 questions, very similar though.
2 questions.
2 questions. Well, you had 4 the other day. 2 questions are, what traits do you feel are important in kids to have? Okay, that's question 1.
Yeah. There's a lot of distractions around me. There's a dog trying to paw at you. Why did we bring the dogs in here with us? That was a really bad idea.
Because it's Parents of the Year, not Dog Owner of the Year.
Okay. She looks like she's about to jump on you and attack you.
Just go to sleep.
Okay, traits, kids.
So what do you think are important traits for kids? Like 1 or 2. Doesn't need to be a laundry list. Second.
Oh, can we just start with the first?
Let's go with that one.
Because I will forget.
Yep. Good point.
Okay. Traits. Resilience. For sure. I mean, that's something that we talk about. And again, like it's one of those things that we never even had to talk about when we were kids, just because we had so many opportunities, right?
Yeah.
Is that what you're looking at? It's not like, is that the kind of traits you're talking about? Okay, yeah. Perfect. Yeah, that's the biggest thing that's lacking in a lot of our kids is that sort of bounce back factor, right? And not even just bouncing back, being able to thrive. But there's a whole host of pieces that I think are wrapped up in that.
Okay.
Being able to manage conflict, obviously, is a big one, right? Even now, I have adult students. Oh, I got to be careful because students might be listening to this. But I have adult students who don't know how to solve conflicts. And they run to me to solve conflicts.
That's not abnormal. Like I've experienced that for years at work, right? Like people as a whole don't do well with conflict and conflict resolution.
True.
Would you rank that as one of the highest components of resiliency that the kids need to learn?
No.
Or kids in general?
No, I think I mean, the most important thing is being willing to take risks.
Okay.
Whatever that looks like. Maybe not the kind of risks that I do,
Yeah. The unthought through risk.
Like, yeah. Base jumping. I wouldn't actually base jump. That is one thing I would definitely not do. Skydiving, absolutely. But I was always that kid.
What's the difference? Like to me, if you have that last minute, I'm not going to do this, there's still a building to hold on to. But in a plane, it's go, and that plane's moving on.
Yes, I have hung on the wing of a plane before. And once you step out, you are done. Like
neither of those are appealing.
Or hanging from the wing of a plane is fun, but you can't go back into the plane. You can't go back in.
Would you consider it more fun to travel at 300 kilometers an hour or skydive? Like on a motorcycle or in a fast car? Or would you rather skydive?
Skydive.
Why?
Because.
Yeah, that's a hard no.
Flying.
You're not flying. You're falling. And there's no control over that situation.
There's more control. You're way more likely to crash into something going fast.
Yeah, the earth. You're more likely to fall into the earth.
In a vehicle than...
No, you go to the salt flats, you got miles you can go. miles and miles. And at any point, you'd be like, this isn't for me.
No.
I'm just going to pump the brakes and we're done.
I'll still do it. I like driving fast. I'll do both. But if I had to pick.
But this isn't the Superstore 500. This is like, I'm talking like an actual, really fast car.
I would rather free fall. But base jumping, like the wind picks up, you smash into the side of a mountain or a building. Like, no, there's just way too many obstacles. Dumb. I know so many people who've died. I know a dude who went with his friends. There was 7 of them who went with his friends to go base jumping. 2 came back alive. I don't need that.
Would you ever put on one of those glide
squirrely
suits?
Things? Yes.
So again, what's the difference?
Your
guidelines for what constitutes smart and not smart falling really seems kind of seat of your pants here.
Could you wear one of those things and a parachute?
Well, yeah, they're built into the back of it.
Oh, yeah, then for sure that. For sure. But in a wide open sky.
So you're not like that dude that goes between the mountain crevices and stuff.
That's dumb. See, no, I would not do that.
See, if that was a YouTube video of me, there would be literally the entire time people like, oh my God, that's so cool. But if you look closely, there would be a pea stream following my suits.
I thought you were going to say a brown stream.
That's it. That depends on how close I come to the crevices. Like if I come really close to the wall, that's when the video cuts abruptly.
Okay, I think we got off track. Resilience.
Yeah. So conflict resolution, resilience.
Not taking those kinds of risks, but being willing to, like, I know so many kids, brilliant children, amazing vocabulary, but they stick with the same few words because they're too scared to make a spelling mistake, for example.
Yep.
So with learning, right? Or anything for personal growth. And there is research, and I feel like sometimes I repeat myself all the time, and I might have already said this in a previous episode, but prodigy children, did I talk about this in a previous episode? Where prodigy children, researchers have followed them long term. And so like musicians, prodigy, mathematicians, all of those
chess,
things,
people, whatever.
Chess, whatever it is. And by the time they are adults, they're just average. And the reason is they're too scared. A lot of our gifted kiddos, for example, and I think we're just creating the society. It's not even necessarily gifted kids, but they're so focused on outcomes and so scared of making mistakes. They never stretch past their comfort zone. So they only stay within their realm. But so that child never really grows to their full potential because they're always staying within their comfort level versus average children, probably with ADHD, who are willing to take risks as adults. They are now prodigy adults because they were willing to push the limits, right? And we look at the success of well, even, and I've probably said this before too, the top CEOs in the world and top businessmen in the world, they have one thing in common, and that's willing to take mistakes. They want to make mistakes. They look for opportunities to make mistakes because that's how they learn, right? It's just like Thomas Edison. I hear he's a jerk, so I'm not basing this on that, but he is known for inventing the light bulb, but he actually took somebody else's protocol. They gave up because they couldn't get it to work. He kept going 10,000 tries, and people were like, how did you fail 10,000 times, right? And he's like, well, I didn't fail. I learned 9,999 ways to make it work. And so that's the biggest thing when I talk about resilience. It's not just facing trauma and stress. I mean, that's a piece of it, especially with COVID. I think there has been so much stress, but being able to pick yourself back up and keep going and keep pushing and keep learning and growing. For me, that's huge.
So is that, and this is going to sound really jokey, but it's not. Is that the same reason that idiots in lifted trucks with like Monster Energy drink decals and stuff can sometimes go so far in life is because they just don't know any better? They're not resilient. They're just ignorant. Like, is it not essentially the same thing?
But no, that's the thing. I'm saying we're going to learn from our mistakes.
Okay. So the difference is these guys don't learn. They just put on their Fox Racing hat, jump in their truck, and blare off into the future.
Potentially. Yeah.
All right, fair enough.
Yeah. So they're actually looking for those to, how do I better myself? Right. And not taking it as I'm awful, I'm stupid, I can't do anything. It's like, yes, great opportunity. Now I've learned, now I can do a little bit better. Okay.
So how do we, aside from the trauma and the ones that, how do we basically instill in our kids, that ability to see failure as a learning opportunity and not a mistake and not Because it happens. Like we have that conversation all the time.
Yeah. And I feel like we have talked about this so much. So, I mean, part of it's a society. We've created this outcomes focused, right? And I know that schools and even parents, it's all about growth mindset. And let's get this journal and we'll do growth mindset. And it's going to be so wonderful. But it's just become this airy fairy sort of fluff that nothing's actually happening because there's not bigger changes globally, societally, right? Because at the end of the day, yeah, your effort is great, but you only got a B, you only got a C, right? It's not good enough. And so part of it is on the outcomes piece, but I think it's about how do we create, if you're a teacher in the classroom, having a wall of mistakes. We are going to celebrate your mistake of the day. And so we're going to write on a sticky. So it's not a sticker for who gets the best grade or who gets the perfect spelling. That's the outcome focus. We're going to focus on what mistake did you make today and what did you learn from it? And it could be something academically, but it could be something, on the playground. I said something to Susie. I wasn't thinking. I hurt her feelings, right? So it's looking at that. And at home, what could we be doing at home? Having a mistake of the day, or how did we handle an unexpected thing of the day? So flexibility, things didn't go your way. So many kids, something doesn't go their way, they freak out. And so being able to, okay, that sucks. That's not what I planned, but I'm still going to make the best of it anyways, right? And for them to be able to do it, because parents will be like, look at the shiny side, let's make lemonade out of lemons and all of these things, but they have to be the ones to be able to come up with that themselves, right? And so I think that for me, I mean, there's so many pieces of resilience that I would look at, but for me, that's a huge piece of it, because from there, everything that we've talked about, accountability and integrity and everything else, I mean, that kind of just falls from that as well, right? Being able to own up and be vulnerable. I think that that's so huge, because I think that that's helping with the accountability and integrity and connection as well. And I think that we just have this society where we need to be effortlessly flawless, effortlessly perfect.
Okay. I think you're right. Okay. So the follow-up question is, when our children disappoint us or fail, how much is an appropriate grounding level? Go. No, that's not where we're going. Okay. So out of that, I agree with everything you said. I think it all makes valid points.
Well, what do you think? What do you think is important traits?
Or
does it break the flow of your second question?
No. There's no flow. Yeah. I thought about 2 seconds ago. No. I think resiliency is it. We talked about it in the very first episode. It's accountability for me. Yeah, it always comes down to accountability for me, because it for the very same reason, like I think accountability and resiliency are very intertwined in a way, right? Like resiliency is the ability to, this is a horrible simplification of what you just said, but as we just framed it, is the ability to see failure as an opportunity to learn, to look at, how to move forward, blah, blah, blah. Mine is I see accountability as the same thing, which is take ownership of the situation. And out of that, how do you move forward? Good or bad, right? I did something wrong. I did something good. Accountability can be stretched beyond that to, I take accountability for how my friends behaved, and I'm responsible because, I didn't say anything. So there's a bit of a broader scope in that, which some people would probably say is unfair to a kid. Like a kid shouldn't have to be expected to take ownership of their friend's behavior, but in certain situations they should, right? And in part of it is, this isn't about kids, but something occurred over the weekend, and I won't get into it, but something occurred over the weekend which has bothered me immensely since then, because as a small amount of background, there was a game going on. One of the parents in the crowd was heckling a 14-year-old player on the ice amongst 30 to 40 people in the immediate area. And nobody said anything. Nobody said a thing. So I noticed it, and I want to be really clear. I'm not a tough guy. I haven't been in a real fight since I was a kid. Like there's no bravado here of me taking someone into the parking lot and tuning them up. That's not the point of this. The point of this is, I saw what this guy was doing, and I saw that everybody was accepting what he was doing. And I saw that there was probably about 15 kids in his immediate region watching him do this and him engaging with them about what he was doing in a funny, jokey manner. To me, that's a complete and utter breakdown of any level of accountability. But I'm most upset by the parents.
Yeah.
Because we as if I do something out of step, you're usually going to correct me and be like, you shouldn't do that. You don't need to be that upset in traffic or whatever. Nobody in that immediate area went, dude, it's a 14-year-old kid, like lay off, until I did. And even when I did it, nobody else engaged. Nobody else said, yeah, dude, lay off. And they all just sat there mute, which to me is acceptance of the behavior, right? You are saying it is okay in this context to make fun of a child as a fully grown adult. And the rest of you are saying you're okay with that behavior, which then in turn means that those 15 kids that are sitting there in the vicinity watching this learn the lesson of, I can do whatever I want. I can say whatever I want to that person, and there's no repercussion to it. Because to me, if you go back to the trait, that's what I want the kids to learn. I want our kids to understand that in that situation, there is an accountability on you, even if you're not the person doing the thing. There is an accountability for you to go, hang on, this isn't right. Something doesn't feel right about this. And it's not about threats. It's not about, fighting. It's literally about going, hey, what are you doing? And which is literally how it started between me and this guy. And so that sort of thing, in that exact instance, if I'm going to say that I want my kids to be accountable and I want my kids to be able to learn from situations and I want my kids to take ownership, I then have to be able to do the same thing. Mm-hmm. Super awkward, not a great instant. Like, I wouldn't say the highlight of my weekend, but as I walked away from it, I know beyond a shadow of a doubt that guy's not going to do that again.
Yeah.
Right? Because up until that point, he thought it was funny.
Yeah.
And people let him get away with it.
Yeah.
So to me, to take it back to the girls, I would like to think that in that instance, if my girls now saw that, they go, hang on, that's not right. I'm not doing anything. And I don't know this person and I don't know that person, but I'm okay to say, no, that's not cool. Like, you need to back off. Out of that, I would like to think that if they were the ones in that situation causing it, they would be able to go, hang on, I'm being an idiot. Or if someone calls them out on it, they're able to go, yeah, you know what, you're right, I shouldn't do that. That to me is why accountability is at the core of everything is.
And that parent did he got defensive. Oh, I was just like, and he made up an excuse. Like, oh, I was just.
Yeah, he made up an excuse and said, no, I was encouraging him. And it wasn't until I got more aggressive and pointedly chose my descriptive words of what he was that he backed down. And it was all because he'd never been put in that situation before. He's a bigger dude. He's almost the same size as me, but he wasn't as big as me. And it wasn't until he realized that I wasn't going to back down and accept a lie that he needed to turn it off. And even when he did, I still made sure to say loudly what he was so that everybody else could hear it. Because I did. I called him a coward. I called him a coward and I called him classless. And I told him that he's no better than how, I can't remember the exact wording, but I basically said, you're classless, you're this, and you're getting joy out of making fun of a child, which makes you just an absolute whatever. That's all I needed. I didn't need to do anything else. All those people now heard two versions of that situation. They heard Mr. Funny Guy, and they heard me saying, you're a grown man that picks on kids. So he gets to wear that. He gets to wear that out. I don't care. It's not going to change who he is. He's still a classless, whatever. But my hope is, like I said, that the girls, if they saw that, would understand. Or at the very least, someone else goes, yeah, like, that wasn't cool, right? Mm-hmm. I'm super uncomfortable in those situations. I hate doing that. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, this is totally long-winded. It's really focusing on the situation. But really what it comes down to is we as parents have to take this thing called respect in sport. Mm-hmm. I take it on behalf of the family. Only one person has to take it. But it's essentially a set of guidelines. And at the top of it is there'll be no abuse of officials or players. Mm-hmm. That's the number one thing. Mm-hmm. So for this guy to say in his own head, I'm going to make fun of this kid because it's funny. And then when I call him on it to say, oh, I was just encouraging him.
Yeah.
No, you weren't, right? So it's important to demonstrate He didn't take accountability, nor will he. But at this point, I hope that the kids that saw it would be able to see the right and wrong of it and move on. And now I can go back to my kids and hold them accountable and hold myself accountable, knowing that, yeah, if I was in that same situation and the roles were reversed, I'd be able to say, yeah, I shouldn't have done that. I need to be a better person, right? But it's through that demonstrable act. And it comes down to, there's always an opportunity to learn. There's always an opportunity, right or wrong. You're directly responsible or indirectly responsible. And it all comes down to, don't be a dick. Like the number one guiding principle through life. And I say this as a guy who's highly sarcastic and has the propensity to be on that line from time to time. But I'm very careful of when I use that now, because I realize what it can do. And as a kid, I didn't realize, and I would be mean. I know the people I can be like that with, and I know where that line is. But at the end of the day, it's more important to me to go out of my way to be nice, to demonstrate that component, because that's the accountability piece, right? Just don't be a dick. Yeah. And if you're a dick, apologize and be better next time. That's all it is. So anyways, resiliency and accountability, those are the two things.
And how would you, just that going back, like, how do you think you can instill for the girls? Like, how do you teach them accountability?
By demonstrating it, like I just did. Yeah. There's different ways, right? Like if there was if there was an incident with one of the kids, let's say there was a playground incident, and I think there was something that one of the kids could have done better. It's just a conversation, right? There's no need, and again, we've talked about this before, but there's no need to make them feel worse about it. No. Sometimes they need to feel worse because, well, I mean that in the sense of sometimes they don't grasp the severity of it. So there does need to be that presentation of, no, you're not really understanding how severe this is. You need to feel it. Our kids don't typically do that. They're hypersensitive to a change in our mood and our demeanor. Like, I don't need to raise my voice and I get called mean all the time, but I've changed my inflection. I've changed how I'm presenting what I'm saying. But that's it. I feel I need to demonstrate those values I think are important, and I'm not great at it. Traffic drives me nuts. Yeah. That is the worst form of myself. I understand that, but I'm trying to be better. But in situations like that, absolutely. When we're out and about and there's an opportunity to help someone, absolutely. Yeah. Right? If it's just small things, but that's it. It's just the demonstrable acts.
Yeah. And I think, being able to model that, and then also, I often ask, how are you going to fix this? It's not us trying to consequence. It's how are you going to fix this? And if there's retribution, them being able to identify what that retribution is. And I think girls are really good with that, right? Yeah. Like, being able to go back and fix it.
I like to think they are.
Yeah. So what was your second question?
What trait do you hope the kids inherit from you? And you can't say resilience.
From me?
Yeah.
Adventure.
Nope. I can't say adventure either. Adventure and resilience are the same.
No, it's well, maybe.
Yeah, it is, because most of the resilience starts with your bad adventure decisions.
What traits do I have that's good?
Dig deep. You got a ton of good traits.
Like?
Nope. You got to come over to yourself.
Obviously not confidence. No.
Okay, let me phrase it in a different way to hopefully help you paint the picture. On your deathbed, you're giving one of the best goodbye scenes ever written. And you look across the room, the sun's coming in the window. You're not in some awful hospital. You're in some great Georgia-based manor, and everybody's taking care of you and everybody's sad, and you look at your two girls and you go, oh, they'll be okay because they got that part of me. And then you die happy.
Oh, so it changed because deathbed, and then I went into my own little plot line, and then I heard something about they'll be good.
So at what point of my little painted picture did you drop out?
You're on your deathbed.
Literally the beginning. So you heard none of the other details.
Well, the end bit.
All right. Well, what would it be then?
So okay, for the first bit, right away, inspiration. That's kind of always been something that's kind of my mission. It's to inspire other people. At a young age, it was acting. And even now I still like that, right?
Mhm.
Just to move people right through that. But then in my work, the best days when I feel like I've inspired parents or kids to do a little bit better or just to be hopeful for the future. I mean, that's always been my mission in life, is to inspire people. So when you said that, that was what I was thinking. But will inspiration help them be successful? Well,
We're not
yeah,
talking about
but you know
success. We're not
what?
talking
Or
about
just to be
success
good.
either.
You know what? I think I'm still going to stick with that, because I think, yeah, because with that, there's so many pieces: being a good listener, right? Being generous, being thoughtful, being kind, all of those traits that I think we're missing so much in the world right now. And I think that's been the hardest part for COVID for me, is just that there's just so much apathy and division between people, vaccination, anti-vaxxers, the truck gong show that's been happening. It's been heartbreaking. And so I think just to be good people, and that inspiration piece, I think.
So resilience, inspirational, good people. That's it in a nutshell.
But the inspiration, like, you just are a good person to be inspirational. You're touching people, you're helping people.
Depends on what type of person you're inspiring,
I suppose.
I think it's very important you make that distinction, that it's a positive inspiration.
Yeah, for sure.
Because you just listed some of the people that are inspired by not so great people.
Yeah.
Right?
No. Yeah. So to be a good person, right? And to instill hope and love and all of that in other people. Mm-hmm. What about for you?
I would like them to continue to emulate the creative part of my personalities, because for me, I've given up a lot of it. And I think a lot of where I'm at headspace wise lately is I don't have any tangible creative output. And it can be anything.
And you're such a good artist too.
I was, but I could barely draw anything anymore. Right. But I mean, it's just the little things. Like, I remember even after you and I got together, we were married. And I think even after Maya was born, I would spend hours poring over music and new music. And it was always some of the happiest time I'd spend. And even then I'd listen to music while I drew or I whatever. And I think that's part of why it's part of everything. Yeah, everything. But it's not just creativity. It's the creation of something with my own two hands. And that becomes more and more important over time, because as my career progresses, most of my jobs don't have a tangible outcome. They do, right? But in technology, what do you do? I make sure that companies have that one missing piece in their ERP system, allows an invoice to go through, and it saves them tens of thousands of dollars a month. Like, come on, right? There's nothing about that I can bring home, hang on a wall, and go, I did that, right? One of the closest accomplishments to that was a marketing campaign with the Flames, right? Because it was in the real world, where people that didn't know us would come and tell us, hey, we saw this and it was awesome. But everything else is release dates, and you'll see the final form. But my role in it isn't a builder of technology. I'm a seller of technology. So it becomes more and more important for me that I try and turn towards things that are tangible, right? The trick I find is, any free time is usually eaten up by other stuff. And do I have the opportunity to get stuff done? Who knows? One of the dogs is simply adjusting right now, so.
I'm scratching.
Yeah. But that'd be it. That'd be the big thing is for them to always find joy in something creative and continue on it for years and years and years and years.
And I always say that creativity and creating is the basis of all happiness and contentment, because you're mindful, you're in it, right? Every other time we're usually in autopilot, ruminating, worrying about something.
Yep.
And yeah, that's a good one too. And I think we're doing good, like I try to play piano every day, and the girls, like, we try to draw and paint, but I do think we should do more. Like, I think it goes like in waves. We'll do a whole weekend of painting and then nothing. And
yeah. Well, and it comes down to the busyness, right? And for me to have any of that, like the woodworking stuff, for me to get to the woodworking requires so much time just to get everything cleaned up and set up. And I never have the dedicated time, right?
So I think we need to make that. Let's do it. Let's carve. Well, I don't know what needs to happen for us to be able to maintain.
Well, the kids got to leave. Like, it's just, they got to go.
Scheduling. I think we just have to schedule and make it sacred.
Yeah, I think that's true. I think there needs to be more of a consistent application to it. Yeah, I would agree. There needs to be something, and there needs to be a purpose to it. Like, I don't want to just say that every Thursday I'm going to be in the garage doing stuff if there's nothing really to do, right? But it's if there's a project to work on, and I don't mean like we've got a laundry list of projects around the house. It's not that. Yeah. I don't care that the kids see you and I redoing the main floor bathroom as a legacy project. I don't care. Yeah. They're not going to be weeping over me when I'm dead going, oh my God, the vinyl flooring was amazing. It's not the same thing, right? But there's certain things like the cabin. I want to start making pieces of the cabin unique to just us, right? Like one of the things with Mom moving is I asked her about Dad's bench. What are you going to do with Dad's bench? She said, no, we won't. So we bought a memorial bench out where my mom lives after my dad passed. And on there is a plaque with a quote that we thought he'd like. So she decided, she's like, I'm going to pull the plaque off and I want you to take it to the cabin and hang it on the cabin because your dad would have loved it. I'm like, that's fantastic. I can't wait to get that plaque out. I'm tempted to go steal it off the bench and just take it out there.
Mm-hmm. Did he never come to the cabin?
He never made the cabin. Oh. He passed away the year before we bought the cabin.
Oh.
Yeah. He might have been out there when we were kids. Like he might have come and picked me up or something, but he never was our place. But it's to do things like that so that there's unique pieces of me and the family in that property, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just stuff like that. Yeah. So
only one more thing to add. Can I add one more? I don't know what time just the innocence, and especially Maya. Yeah. Like that just the childlike, we call it blonde moments, and I have them all the time myself.
But just long list of them.
Just that childlike still fascination. And what? Like there's real things as hot dog stands. I thought that was a movie thing. Not me. My daughter thought that hot dog stands was just something in the movie. She did, like, it was a mythical unicorn. She really didn't know that they were real things on the streets. There's so many little things like that too. Or you told her that
Hermione Granger, or Emma Watson changed her name to Hermione Granger,
and she believed.
Yeah, that was a rough one. She was upset about that. And I didn't mean for it to go on as long as it did. But
just, like, I just think those little things, or even just the other day, there was some realization and just her look of awe and shock and what? Yeah. Like, I just love the innocence in the girls. And I hope that's something, and the playfulness and childlike. I just wish, and not dumbness and ignorance and being taken advantage of or anything. But it's an
naivete. Yeah. The trick, though, is one of our daughters is very astute.
Yes.
Very astute. So while there's an innocence there's an insane superpower of slight temperature changes in the room, and she knows.
Well, even her BS meter, remember? Like, we would tell Maya stuff, and Maya is, 4 years older, and she's like, she'd be like 6 or whatever, and her little 2-year-old
she'd look at Willow like, is that true? And Willow would be like, no, there's no.
Like at 2, Willow would be like, no, mommy and daddy are joking.
Yeah. Maya's gotten better. That's
slightly better.
She's much better. I've tried to pull a few on her now. So her default setting is dad's lying.
Yeah. She knows. That's a problem now, though. Well, I'm not lying. She just assumes that we're joking.
But she's much better. Willow.
We've cried wolf too many times.
Yeah, she picks up on it too much.
But yeah, Willow is quite astute. But all righty. Well, I feel like there's like a million other things that I could talk about. But
there usually is.
I think we could call it a night.
All right. Anything from the dogs? No? Everybody's good?
Everyone's good.
All right. Until next time, everybody.
See you later.
Bye.